We're waiting for Joanna to join the Zoom call. We're waiting for Joanna to join the Zoom call. Joanna, Joanna. Hi, I'm with Joanna today. Welcome back to Not So Whimsical. First of all, I suck at introductions, which is just why they're never going to exist. So, Joanna, how are you today?
Hi, Nicole. Oh my God, I'm really excited. So, because today is the day when we finally meet, and the thing is, we haven't met in a while. Like really, like how was it? When was the last time? Yeah, it
February.
was February. See, yeah, it's really long. And now I'm not even in Vienna, but that doesn't even matter. But the thing is, we can still meet each other online. And yeah, see, I'm really kind of nervous and I'm talking
That's
shit.
fine. So we do know each other and we have seen each other before.
Yes,
This is
that's
just
true.
this is just saying hi again. So you're in Tyrol right now, I'm assuming?
Yes, because my family is originally from here and everybody's living here. And at the beginning of the COVID-19 quarantine time, I was really afraid to come here because it was like the melting pot in Tyrol, and they had really a lot of infections here. So that's why I just really stayed in Vienna. But I'm healthy, so no problems here. And so that's why I actually decided to come here now, because now it's a little bit easier now.
Yeah, and I mean technically you've been self-quarantined for like 4 to 5 weeks. So
True. Yeah.
yeah. So Tyrol is nice. I've always wondered, like I've never been, but I love the accent, the dialect. I've always wondered where you're from, like based on your dialect. And I was like, I don't want to be that rude person who's like, so I'm assuming you're from Tyrol because that's the only place where people probably talk like that. But
Yeah,
it's really funny.
but that's actually what happens all the time. It's like when you speak to somebody with no proper German. I mean, I can try, of course I can try, but I don't always want to do it, especially if I'm just if I spend my leisure time with somebody. Like if it's not important how good or how perfect I can pronounce any words, so I don't try it, and I just give it a go and just speak like now. Just speak whatever comes out of your mouth. And
Yeah, but this idea of proper German is ridiculous anyway. I mean, I
yeah,
wish I wish I had like to me this shows of like I appreciate that you talk to me the way you talk to, someone that's close to you because that just means that, you feel comfortable with the person, right? And you're not filtering yourself by going super Hochdeutsch and that kind
yeah.
of stuff.
Oh my God, yes. That's true. No, because if you go super Hochdeutsch, then you are basically first you are yourself, and if you do that, you step one step further. You step out of yourself. It just gets way more fake. Because
Yeah,
I made a lot of encounters with people who did that, and I'm always so confused when they try to speak what they think of how they should speak,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
different. Yeah. I came to Vienna and I'm acting. So that's why I always knew I need to work on my language. I need to work on my pronunciations. I need to work on my on my case, on the harsh sounds. And nobody should hear them, because then everybody knows where you're from and they don't want to know where you're from. No, you should all sound the same, kind of. So
Yeah.
that's the thing when you want to be in German speaking countries. So it all gets to be one unit,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But on the other hand, what's kind of exciting then is when because you're going to become a superstar, that's a done deal. So when one day you go to interviews and stuff and you speak your German, people are going to be like, wow, that's so cool. I mean, that's, I guess, the nice thing about being an actor is that you play a role. But I understand that I get that it sucks. It's like you go to an audition and you have to be a different person. And actually about that, so you go to the Elfriede Ott, do they call it Schule or do they call it academy or?
It's called Haute Academy, in the proper term, yes. So academy, yes, but actually it really fits into the school system. You could be there a whole day. So it also depends on the classes, on the years, like in which year you are. In the first year you have more lessons, more classes together as a group, and in the second year you have more single classes, like really one-to-one. like face to face with one teacher. Yeah, you do like your own monologue, for example. And then it's just
Wow.
1-to-1. Yeah, and you have 1 hour or sometimes 2 hours. It always depends on how you structure it.
And so why did you decide to, was that something you've always wanted to do, acting, or how did you get there, basically?
It's always a good question because, yeah, I always loved singing, which I still do. In school, I always was part of a choir, and so I always sang. And then one time in, how old was I? I maybe 13 years. So at that age, we had a theater workshop, like an acting workshop, the first time and also the last time in my school, which was so sad for me. Like, because I loved it. It was like, oh my God, I never experienced something like this before, because I'm coming from let's call it a village, like a small Kaff, we would say in Austria. You don't really have a culture. A culture of a culture. So normally we have culture, of course, we have traditions, we have all that kind of stuff, which is really Austrian, but it's not the same as going into theater, watching different pieces. You don't have that. We have plays, we have really small groups, different groups, like Laiendarsteller, like not non-professional actors who build up their own groups, and then they make some small pieces in some small stages somewhere in any valley, really behind the mountain, like really, really somewhere where nobody would ever see it, but they still do it. So unfortunately, I never found out how to join one of these groups, but I still knew that this is going on. And so I was really, from that moment on, from this workshop on in school, I had one major peak experience, let's call it like this, where the guide, or not the guide, but the workshop leader, she told me, yeah, you need to feel like, act like as if you would be a sculptor. And then I was like on the floor and making some special movement, and I did a freeze. And then she came to me and touched my shoulder, and then she told me, like, now you can speak. And I just said one sentence, whatever came to my mind. And then after that, she was looking at me. There was really a silence. And then she was like, that's the way you should do it. And this was a special moment where I realized, wow, I want to do this. But then from this time on, it took a lot of years and a lot of courage and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I finished school after Matura when I was 18, and then I really didn't know what to do. Even though I bought myself books for monologues, I bought all the stuff for acting. I knew I wanted to do it, but I just couldn't do it. Like, I was afraid. I was so afraid, and I just couldn't. I didn't dare, like, going to schools, applying, because also I was just from Tyrol, so there was no connection. I really had no connection to theater.
And especially in a place like Vienna or Austria in general, where you only get in through connections. It's like,
that's the next thing. Yeah, the so-called Freundelwirtschaft. It's absolutely the word for it. I love it, even though I hate it. But yeah, that's the word. It's not only theater; it's actually in all kind of businesses, especially the creative ones.
Yeah, but like everywhere, even right now, I'm kind of struggling to get a job, and my parents are like, oh, I know a guy, and I know this guy, and I'm like, I want to do this on my own, but it's been going on for a year, and I'm just like, yo, Dad, what about that guy again? Like,
it is really, yeah. You need to decide if you want to do it or not. But sometimes you can take the decision and say, yeah, okay, I rely on somebody, and this person helps me to get out of my situation, or next time I will do it on my own. You can decide. After the Matura, I bought these books, and I was working in Switzerland for this time, and as a waitress in a hotel. And in that time, I was actually preparing, like kind of preparing, it's really hard. Like, I had no clue. I just knew I wanted to do it, but I had no clue how to really prepare, how to learn it, how to even play a character. Like, I have no idea. And so I did it, but then I kind of lost track. So it was just going away, and I had my interest somewhere else. And then I knew I want to go travel. So I did this. I did several jobs. And then I was working at the Eurovision Song Contest in Vienna as a volunteer, 2015. They were doing castings, and they were looking for volunteers. And I was interested in music and in media and television and stuff and all this kind of things. So I thought, yeah, well, let's go there. And they took me, and then I was in Vienna for a month. And when I was there, I really felt the connection to Vienna. I really knew, that's a great city. yeah, I think I want to go there and live there. And yeah, so that's how it came to the decision to go to Vienna, and also to stay in Vienna because my friends are there, my boyfriend is there, and it's a great city, and it's still in Austria, which makes it most of the time quite easy concerning the bureaucracy and stuff.
Did you meet your boyfriend at the, like, when was that? Was that before the
I'm
Eurovision Song Contest or?
yeah, I met
Oh,
him. Yeah, he's also Tyrolean, actually from the same,
oh,
just a few kilometers away from me. No, my best friend, she went to school with him, so
okay.
she knew him for quite a long time. Yeah, and then yeah, we met through friends, and that's how we got together then. Yeah, and moved to Vienna together, but not into the same flat.
And now you're still not living together? I thought you were.
Yes, we did. We moved together 2018.
And how's that going?
Yeah, it works. First, it was always like, oh my God, I'm so tidy, and he's just not so tidy. And then we had like the differences there, and it's just normal. Like everybody does his living in his way, or the way he learned it, the way we learned it. But now I think we're doing really good. Like everybody knows the consequences. Everybody knows how to deal with each other's, how to deal with each other's bad sides, negative habits. Nah, it sounds maybe worse than it is. Consequences is probably the wrong word. Yeah, the circumstances.
Okay,
Just the situation in general. We know this and that works for us, or if I fall back into my old patterns, if this happens, then this is going to happen now, or this and that consequence is maybe going to happen, and then he stops me, or then I stop myself, and then I just get myself under control, and then calm down, and everything's okay.
And what does he do? He's a musician, right? From what I've seen.
Yes, he produces music, and he also has a hip-hop band, and he always publishes some songs on FM4 as well.
So FM4 is a radio channel in Austria, and
Exactly.
They do more of the. I really like them because they do more of the like alternative. I don't know if alternative is the right word.
They are really supporting local artists.
So both of you are like creative artists. That must be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nurturing for one and another.
Oh, that's really sweet. I actually really admire that you bought books and that you took this acting thing so seriously, because I don't know if I ever told you about how I got into it. It's actually similar as with your story. There was this so I went to French school, and there was this thing called like Atelier Théâtre, which is just like an extracurricular like activity. And so I joined them, and then we went to our first like big theater event. Basically, we went to Romania. There's a festival every year in Arad, which is a small city in Romania. It's like a French festival, like to celebrate the love of French, because the Romanians are very Francophile, and so they're really into that. And so we went there. I had 3 words in the whole play, but I practiced and I did it every day, and I was like, this is the most important thing in my life. And then when the play was over, I got the flowers. Like everyone gets flowers. So I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Great. That's exactly the courage and the strength, the discipline, I call it. What you really need. Like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We were really a troupe, it felt like we were these vagabonds just going like,
that feeling of a group, of a togetherness, of unity. It's so great that really, I feel that all the time in my class. Shout out to all my classmates here, because really it's so important to have that kind of feeling, that kind of support, like everybody supports you, but still always being able to be yourself, always to be able to go out of your comfort zone. Really, really important. Like really don't give a and just try new things, and because you have a safe space within a group, and if the group is really trusting each other and supporting each other and loving each other, then it's the best thing that ever can happen to you.
And if you're lucky, which I was, and I'm sure you are as well, you're working with people who are so talented.
Yeah.
And that is that drives you even more.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know if you have that, but like sometimes when we'd practice, I would look at my co-actor basically, and I'd just be in awe of the way he was acting.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Nicole, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Sorry, I'm just so proud of you."
Absolutely. Or when they do like their own monologue and you were just watching them and you were like, oh, he's so good. He progressed in the last months, and what did I do? And then you start comparing. Yeah, but it's not. But you take it as a positive thing to learn, because it's also the really, really good advantage of a group is because of different people. That's the best thing. Like, mix different people together with different backgrounds, with different ages, maybe with different experience. Like, everything should be as mixed as possible, because that's what I think is like really, really nurturing again, because then the older ones learn from the younger ones, and everybody has their different backgrounds, as I said, and so this brings a lot of great variety, but also potential for dispute, of course, because everybody's like really strong and everybody wants to express themselves, and then, but this is great for creativity, because then it rises up and everybody gives so much. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's just the best thing in the world. And yeah, that's why, again, I really commend you for buying the books and doing all the work. But then when I got out of school, I kind of directed one play, and I always told myself, hello, I was taught theater, I'm a professional, and blah blah blah. So I never read the books. I got one book actually from Stanislavski. I just never read it because I felt too good about myself. Which is complete crap, because when I met you, dialing back, let's talk about how we met.
True. Yeah, that's a really funny thing, because we met through acting. So there was a really great person. She's a writer, and she wrote a really, really great story for a series, which she wanted to publish online. And so this is how we met. Both of us were actually invited to, it's not a casting, but we were both
we were cast
we were cast of a series, and so we met actually on one day, on first day I think, where we did rehearsals, which is just reading rehearsals, like cold reading, and that's how we met.
What was your first impression of me?
I think you were on the couch already, right, when I arrived. Is that true? Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I was really impressed when I saw you. I mean, also when you spoke, because I think you kind of talked a lot.
Me? I would never.
No, because I mean the whole mood and the whole atmosphere was really relaxing. Also it was like always going up and down, like, but also always in a good positive feeling. But you really brought excitement, you brought fun, and you brought dedication to the piece, to this work, which we all did together. Really. And then like really, like your mood and your sayings, your work, like everything you did kind of took over, I feel. And I really personally, but it was a really good way, because when I came, I was motivated, but I was not that motivated like you maybe were. Like, for me, it really looked like that you were a really good professional actress, and somebody who does that all the time, and somebody who is really puts her heart in this work. And then I compared you with myself, and I was thinking like, oh my God, what am I doing here? I'm just like really calm, and I'm like sitting here and listening, and I don't want to make any mistakes, and I'm like really like behind, like always. You made a good impression to me. Really, really interesting. So how was your impression of myself?
So I remember, so you came in a bit late, which, and I was like, she is so cool. We will never be friends. Cause like, you were wearing like these really cool pants, and you had these lovely socks. I can't remember anything except colors.
That's me.
And what is funny is I actually thought that you were gay. I told you that, I think.
Yeah.
Because also you have a rainbow tattoo.
Yeah.
Which is so like assuming of me. No, I just loved that your hair was short and that you were this tall, beautiful person. You reminded me of like a French superstar, because like these French models, they tend to look like super tall and super like, it looked like for you, you can come out of bed and look amazing, you know, and I love that so much. I was just,
Stop it.
no, you came in and there was this ease suddenly that came into the room, because you know, like, I feel like I talk, I mean, we all know I talk a lot, but I felt like I was being annoying to everyone. And what I really appreciated about you, and also about Mark, Mark is such a cool person. He goes to school with you.
Yeah.
He's amazing. And
Yeah.
you two, I wasn't sure, like, it was all very confusing when we met, like in my head at least. I thought you guys were like very close, roommates, something like that, like some type of a connection that was like, you know, that you knew each other for sure. And then I saw you having that line. You took me away with that one line, you know, because you are like the way your voice changed immediately, you know, based on, it was just so crazy. Because with me, it's like, yes, I look very eccentric and very loud, and they're like, of course, she's an actress. And with you, I was like, huh, that will be interesting to see how she, like, because I didn't know the roles, I didn't know which role you had as well.
Mm.
And then, like, you brought the energy, you brought the personality, you immediately had a character in mind. And I was just like, fuck me, that is so cool. And she, like, how did she just do that? How did you just form, like, morph into a completely new person? That was really cool.
So does that mean that by appearance I actually, like, man würde mir, nur wenn man mich anschaut, vielleicht weniger zutrauen als das, was ich kann?
So what you're saying is that by seeing you, one would think
Normal, regular, boring looking, I don't know, like just
right, regular looking.
Yeah.
See, no, not at all. I was thinking to myself, you look like this super edgy person, you know? And that's something I wish I was, because that's what I'm trying to say. Like with me, you see this loud person, you're like, she's loud. With you,
But that's, you are looking like really super edgy, like really bam. And I was always like, oh, wow, how can you have such an appearance and such a power and such a, like, oh, really, you fill the whole room. It's like, I loved it. When you played your lines, when you spoke your lines, it was just like, okay, well, I have a lot to learn. She's a natural. Oh my God. Really,
no,
really.
I absolutely hate that. I'm sweating on the inside. I'm so nervous I can't breathe. That's the thing. For you, it felt like you have this natural ease to take a room with who you are. And that's something that is really special and very little. It's a lot like with the person who wrote this whole script and who wrote this show. You know, when you see her, you're like, she looks nice. She opens her mouth and you're like, wow.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, oh.
And
yeah.
you both really shared that, and I just loved, like, you came in and there was immediately a shift, and that was really cool, which is why I think I told you that when you you know, when you wished me a happy birthday. I am so happy that you're in my world, because I think you bring so much beauty into everything and so much joy. It's like, that is something that just people don't have a lot, or you know.
Yeah, I think people tend to forget, like, that this is kind of the basic feeling you should have. I mean, not basic feeling, but it's, for me, it's just, since I'm just always optimistic and like really, I would really consider myself a happy person. I don't, you know, I'm not even, sounds stupid, but I say I'm not even trying to be happy every day, because it's just, I wake up and I'm not feeling bad or not feeling super happy, but it's just like the normal basic feeling what I have mostly turns out in everything's fine. Even though sometimes, of course, I could ask myself, go deeper and like, oh my God, is it really fine? How are you really feeling? Like, this is like the more overthinking kind of thing, which I'm not that kind of person, but I got more into this because I'm also really interested in philosophical ways of living and philosophical thinking and all the kind of connecting body and soul, and like really all this kind of things, like really connect to your body. But yeah, it's maybe that's why you got the impression like I am at ease, because I'm also a person I can never be in a hurry, even though I'm late or even though I know I should be in a hurry. I just really don't have the feeling like, oh my god, I can't do it anymore, and oh my god, everything is too much. And for some people, that just happens quite fast to them, or that they like are really pissed of something or really depressed. I also have these kind of feelings, but it's just like I prefer giving the positive feelings, the good feelings, the good vibrations more room in my living than the negative ones.
But see, that's what I wanted to say in terms of like that I wouldn't zutrauen you that you're good at like as good or whatever. I think, and to quote Shrek, you're like an onion and you got lots of layers, and that's beautiful. Something that would interest me, I wouldn't say much more, but that interests me a lot because you just recently started, is that Instagram account of yours. That's you and your best friend, right?
Yes, it's a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, exactly. And she is with me in my Elfriede Ott acting class. So that's how we met. Yes. And so the thing is, we actually both share the passion for conscious living, conscious lifestyle. But I hate it actually to talk about it, or not to talk about it, but I hate the fact that this is a trend right now, and this is like people make such a lot of money out of it. Like people make money out of it just to live consciously, or just to be vegan, or just to be vegetarian, or all that kind of stuff, just to do yoga all over everywhere. I don't want to call it a blog, but it's kind of a blog. We're just sharing our path of going vegan, for example, which is for my friend, or for me it's going vegetarian, or like our path, like how do we keep up with fitness? What do we do to feel comfortable with body and soul? And for me, for example, it really is yoga. I never thought about it, and I never knew that it's working for me. But since I learned it actually also in school, I got to know it, and so now I really made it a part of my daily routine. So I never really thought of that. Never, ever. So this is also what's really helpful. And we actually started this kind of blog because of the really, really long time we had in quarantine. And we actually also started it off as a book club because we both really love reading. Yeah. And then we did Skype meetings all the time and talking about the book. And then one day she came up with the idea, hey, why shouldn't we document everything we do? Like all the recipes we try, like all the different bread sorts we bake, and the different, all kind of everything of recipes, like hairspray or whatever, like really different recipes you don't do in your daily life. Like you wouldn't have the time to make your own washing soda, for example. Yeah, and that's how we came to it. And now we try to bring some content, of course, produce some content, not on a daily basis, but always in a few days, day by day. Then one day maybe there's nothing new, but that's also the thing. We don't want to make it a business. It's just for us right now. And then we see wherever it goes.
And so it's called Jahrmarkt, right?
Yes.
Or
it's called Jahrmarkt because I'm Johanna and she's Alina, and that's why it's J and A. So J is for my name and A is for her name. And then it's Markt because the market is a place where you collect a lot of things, a lot of different. So we actually want to collect, and on our page we collect ideas, we collect inspiration for people, and we will also, that's a spoiler now, we have something in mind, like we want to do something with different people as well. Different people who are all on the same page as we are concerning conscious lifestyle and living for the planet, like doing good for our planet. That's actually also the main message we have. Yeah,
that's really great. So do you have people already lined up, or?
Intermission time. Intermission time. I know it's hard to say goodbye, but we'll be back soon with more fun stuff to talk about. 'Cause it's the not so whimsical part